Yo, what's up? All right, so part two of our greenhouse uh, transplant to outdoors. Again, we got some broccoli, two things of broccoli I put in, some chard that I moved from that raised bed to that one, and then our Blue Lake bush beans that we're doing a transplant on today. So I covered going from containers to the pot, and so just shits and giggles I'll do either I do container to container, like just various containers, or a little, this is an eggshell carton. Those make great seed starter kits as well. Just, you know, pot your soil in there, put your seed, and then let it be. So I had that sitting in the greenhouse for maybe beginning of the month or so. So what I did here is, all you do is you just take your eggshell carton, flip it over, put a little bit of pressure right here. It should plop it out just like this. You can see the root system there from coming off from the tap root, and this is probably one other crappy seed in there, and then there's your squash seed, and we're gonna plop that right in our hole here. Got our worms in. We already pre-moistened the soil, so now that we got that tucked away, we'll just brush our soil back over it, and it's going to go through a little bit of transfer shock, and we have some heavy rain coming, as most plants will. Once you transfer them, they'll go through a little bit of the transfer shock going from home to home. So you just want to keep on top of it. So once I transferred them, I poured a little bit of water. That's why that one's beaten down a little bit. This one was in a Jiffy pot, so I transferred that, so that, you know, looks a little neater and better. This one was a ground-to-ground, was a bed-to-bed transplant, because I had too many, I think it was chard or something I had, or maybe the space spinach leaves I had in this raised bed, so I transferred it over to this one. So it looks like shit. It'll probably look like shit for the week, and then if I did everything right, it'll come out like this one did, where you see it starting to come, whoops, camera keeps changing angle, where you see it starting to come back to life here and stand up straight and get some life back in the two leaves there. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully those will come back good. And oops, sorry, wrong one. Yeah, those will come back good. Oh, don't forget to mark them. Marking your spots as well. That helps for future reference when you gotta come back and look at them. It's just all sideways. For when you gotta come back and look at them. So don't forget to mark your spots. Moisten your soil, do your transplant, then moisten the soil back again, and hope for the best. So sometimes it is helpful to do these around the feeding times. I haven't actually fed these raised beds yet, so I did an experiment. Some of them I transferred before the feedings, and some of them I'll transfer after the feedings to kind of see which one makes out a little bit better. But so far so good. So you just kind of got to be patient, that's all. It might take 3 weeks for your seeds, for the germinated seeds, taking them out of the paper towel and plopping them in soil, and then you'll finally start to see growth coming through. This is another Jiffy pot. Like I said, these are supposed to be biodegradable, so you can just plop these straight into the ground. There's some chard we have here, so you can plop those straight into the ground. So that's probably what I'll do with that one, or put it in an individual pot. But yeah, so far so good. The next video we'll probably take a look at is some of our cannabis plants are getting to the point where they're going to need to get transferred into our 5-gallon buckets. That's holes for the drainage, and then these holes are for our training. So I'm gonna do some different tries with some low stress training, and maybe one high stress training. I don't know. I'll see how I feel and just kind of how I want to go experimental wise. But these are for the tie downs to do our low stress training for our plants. Same thing here. Crack that off the cup, put it in the ground, put water back over. You're good to go. From there, so yeah, it's pretty straightforward, pretty fun. It's one of those things where it's like you hit a major milestone in your garden, so you want to finally get your babies from inside your greenhouse to outside in their final home. Again, some plants are different. Some plants transplant easily, some plants do not. I believe squash is super sensitive, so just like once and done. Couple of the plants you can transfer, size up until you finally get outside. And then some stuff like potatoes, there's no transplanting. Once you have it in the ground, it's in the ground. So yeah, those are some thoughts. Just kind of let y'all know how everything comes out. I might try and plant some more blue kale, and maybe I have one more basil to transplant in here to try and fill this in a little more. And then I'll probably put together another video on pollination. I'm gonna try and experiment with trying to do a couple cross breeds, whether if it's cannabis cross breeds or just tomato cross breeds. But I'll try that. So I got to get in. I might do like a straight line of pollinators, maybe a cross of pollinators, so that way I can get the bees and stuff in here to come in and do some good stuff here and spreading everything around and getting some more growth. And then also focusing on the other aspect of outdoor gardening, pesticides. Again, we have our pest damage here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up some pesticides. I got some, it's called Mammoth Biocontrol, and that's an oil-based pesticide. So with that one, those you want to apply at night, because that oil will sit on top of the plants, and in the heat and the sun, that'll actually cook and kill the plant. So I'll focus a little bit more on that in a separate video, but this will be our pretty much run up in